What's up, guys? This is Jim from the Bingetown TV podcast, and I'm back for an emergency Yellowjackets theory video for you all. Beware, there are major spoilers for season 2, episode 8 ahead, so please make sure you're caught up before watching this video. If you aren't caught up, hit that subscribe button and save this video for after you watch. And of course, please hit that subscribe button if you like our videos so you can stay up to date on all of our future theory videos. Before we get into the theory talk, I want to give us all a little pat on the back for getting some of these theories correct. And when I say us, I mean all of us as a fandom. I make these videos breaking down the theories and giving my thoughts, and you guys send all of your comments and messages in. Together, we have gotten some big ones right. One of the big ones I'm pretty happy about is Jackie's necklace being given to whoever the next sacrifice is going to be. I talk about that theory in my last video about Mari being Pit Girl, so check that out if you have any interest. Episode 8 ended up pretty much confirming this theory, and I am all about it. But anyway, let's get into this crazy episode. At the end of the episode, Nat pulls the queen card, and don't you dare act like you weren't holding your breath and about to shed some tears for our girl, even though you knew she survived and is alive in the present timeline. Of course, the writers swerve us, and Javi is ultimately the one who dies, and we ended up crying for a totally different reason. The episode finally confirms another theory that many of us had, and that is how the survivors choose their next sacrifice. Many people believe that the queen card with the X's through the eyes would be the sacrifice card, and that is confirmed in this episode. The survivors decide that they cannot go on without sacrificing one of their own, and they collectively decide to let the wilderness choose. And the way the wilderness chooses is presumably by a game of chance. The survivors take the deck of cards, shuffle the queen into it, and then whoever picks the queen card will be sacrificed for the good of the group. Now, this is where things get tricky. At this point, I think it's safe to assume that we all believe that there are some supernatural elements to this TV show. Most of the survivors are believing at this point that the wilderness is choosing the next sacrifice, even though it obviously could just be a literal game of chance. Many fans are wondering if Nat pulling the queen card and Javi pulling the king card, but Nat living and Javi dying means that there wasn't anything supernatural to it, and they are just sacrificing whoever they can. When they allow Javi to drown, the girls are saying that the wilderness is chosen, even though they literally could have just pulled Javi out and continued their hunt of Nat. So is this proving that the wilderness spirit isn't choosing the survivor's fate by the queen card in some supernatural way? Not exactly. There is a very important scene that happens in episode 5 that is definitely a blink and you missed it moment. Honestly, this could be on the writers for making it such a nonchalant scene when it could be very important. If you go back to episode 5 of season 2, there is a scene where Travis tells the group that Javi will speak when he wants to. In the background, if you have your subtitles on and listen closely, you'll see and hear Aquila ask Javi where he got the queen card at. We know from the earlier seasons that the queen was missing from the deck. Javi came back into their survivors' lives with the queen card. By the rules of television, if the writers specifically tell the viewers that the queen card is missing from the deck and then place a scene in a later episode where a character magically shows up with the queen card after being missing for months, you should assume it's important and was blatantly added to the show for a reason. If you're a believer in the supernatural elements of the show, Javi was actually chosen by the wilderness as the first sacrifice all the way back in episode 5. This is interesting because this means literally nothing to the girls and could mean everything to the viewer. At this time, the girls aren't thinking about the fact that Javi originally had the queen card when it was missing previously. For now, all they're trying to do is rationalize how to choose the next sacrifice, and they don't care how the person is chosen as long as someone is chosen. They rationalized Javi instead of Nat by just saying the wilderness chose, because he fell through the ice. For the viewers, there are many questions that now need to be answered. Where did Javi get the queen card? Who gave it to him? Is the wilderness spirit pulling the strings but in mysterious ways? I've already seen some counter arguments that if Javi is the first person to have the queen and dies, then Nat would be the second, but we know she doesn't die. And my only argument to that for now is that the wilderness will choose when it needs to choose, meaning Javi having the queen card meant that the wilderness chose because it knew that the time was coming where the survivors were going to need a sacrifice to survive starvation. The episode 8 drawing from the deck had no intervention from the wilderness because Javi had already been chosen and his fate was sealed. Is that a shaky answer? Maybe, but maybe not if you're thinking about the wilderness as some kind of higher power. If the wilderness pulls strings in its own way, you can explain around anything, which is sometimes the problem with supernatural elements to television shows. In my opinion, Javi holding the queen card first and that scene being placed in episode 5 served two major purposes. Number 1, it foreshadowed his eventual death 3 episodes before it happened. And 2, it is going to make the viewers think about how he got the queen card, who gave it to him, if anyone, and make videos like this where we question everything. All right, that's it for my emergency Yellowjackets theory video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Am I thinking too much into this, or was Javi chosen by the wilderness long ago? I will be back ASAP with a few more videos to discuss this crazy episode, discussing things like how the survivors' hallucinations and their actions actually do make sense, deep diving into the deck of cards, and much more. So please hit that subscribe button so you're notified when the next episode comes out. Until next time, RIP Javi.